Can I go next?
Yes.
Sorry. I'll quickly share my screen. And my house, I've chosen a house by Tadao Anto. And it's like initially a house in Tomishima, which was later like demolished to for his own office. The project's called the office in Oyodo. Second, and during the semester, we had like interesting discussions on something that is gone but stays, and something that is gone but will be. Let's say the ghost and the shell of the house, and like the tension of these two information in the continuous process of demolition and construction on the same location. And I'll go directly into my text. It's composed of two parts. First part is about like giving the persona to the house, and then second part I try to have like sort of a voice of recording the dialogue between the two information that goes in the show. Solid faces, measured windows, sense of entering and moving up, old memories of the inhabitants goes in show. All that is part of what creates the consciousness and at the same time limits oneself within certain boundaries, seemingly framed in a specific time and space. Gast or Geist, an old breath of the past, of good or bad spirit, of an angel or of a demon, phantasma or deity, yet with a base sense of appearance or presence. The presence relates to a group of conflicts, intentions, of entanglement and loosening. Unfulfilled demands by the end of life can be caused externally, namely by the environment, social structure, or by other third parties, or internally, a regretful deeds done by oneself. Twisted mind crystallized under such conditions cause continuous obsession, which needs to be either healed or be forgotten, to be loosened. Bipolarity of the demands defines the complexity of the twists. Desire to achieve and impulse to destroy, love and hate, endurance and frustration, appassionata and pathetique. The process of loosening, regardless of internal or external causes, should correspond to the density of the obsession, often with a great motivation of group consciousness. The right loosening emits bright light, transmitting the good to the others. Emission of dark light by resentful presence, however, transmits the same obsession outside. Silu, shell, husk, with a notion of covering that splits off dry outer skin that contains hollow objects, little case or house. Soul is not the only life of an individual, but it is rather a disposition towards or inclination to the body, and concentration of matter that forms the physical realm or limits of a living being. The particularity and finite limitations of body gives the soul a material form. None of its operations are carried out without a corporeal organ. Knowledge begins in sensation, and understanding itself depends on sensible images. In a constant dialogue between ghost and shell, all information is both reality and a fantasy at the same time. Ghost and the shell. It is a dialogue which we perceive as city. Architecture itself is an information in ephemeral states, a collective memory, a motivation to write. It is passed down for a long time in forms of mythical tales, biblical codes, in forms of direct practices of building, often drawn and written in papers. The seed of written information sprouts in different shapes, texture, and materiality. It is in a higher dimension, and its shadow in reality perfects its presence. A ghost borrowing the mouth of a speaking shell writes a sentence on a page, and the once written down crystallized shell guides the next voice of the ghost. it creates a scene of palimpsest. Ironically, a body ceases to exist. Why is it going through this? Why does it deserve that? Hard questions sprout from destructive decision. It is natural for a sentence to be subject for revision or correction, or even deletion, which is written on an exotic context without a thorough understanding of it. Yet it is hard to think of a right explanation. The writer might have hated the sentence too much, or maybe loved it too much to be written. Or it could be that the context was too hostile, or maybe too yielding. But it is now clear that the deletion of sensible images on the page has now created a strong twist. On the same blank space is a trace of erased sentence, marked by the width of pen, and a lot is still in presence. The gray smell of hardening concrete ink, smells of wooden partitions that space different letters, bright laughter that filled all the rest voids, and the initial ambition of the writer to imbue the old page with his minimalist attitude. Fortunately, it is the same writer who writes the new shell on the same blank space, and the time of revision did not only apply on the house of Tomishima. The world has been revised, putting away the old obsessions. For now, the ghost and the shell see in a mirror, darkly, but then face to face. Now they know in part, but then they shall know just as they also are known. That's it from my side.